I swear to God, if anyone tries to accuse me of trying to be the unproblematic version of Yummy Cactus, I am going to—
Hello everyone, I'm Mars. I'm an artist, animator, aspiring historical educator, and writer. I wanted to make this video just to talk about historical OCs and stuff. This will mostly focus on military OCs, especially World War II, but it can be applied to general military characters and even general historical OCs, not just military ones. I and many others create historical OCs for the sake of education. For example, I have recently started creating a comic called Little Soldier Boy about a German teenager named Otto Fischer forced to fight in World War II. The comic is meant to be an anti-war, anti-Nazi educational piece of media. Being a World War II comic is going to have characters who are Nazis. For example, Otto's brother and an antagonist, Vincent, also him having the same name as the main Nazi character from Whitebird, is intentional. Highly recommend that book, by the way. Obviously, my characters do not reflect my political views and beliefs. I just want to tell history the way that it is, which includes very bad extremist views that make people uncomfortable. The same thing applies to many others too. I've seen plenty of historical OCs made for educational purposes, and that is what they should be made and used for. I think historical fiction in general should be made and used to educate more than it should be made and used to entertain. It can obviously be made entertaining. My favorite film, Jojo Rabbit, is entertaining and educational. Keeping your audience in the story is important. You need to keep them engaged if you want them to stay and actually be educated. In short, education is important, and historical OCs should be made primarily to educate. But that's just my opinion. You don't need to agree with me. Another huge part of making historical characters is being respectful to real-life tragedies. Some people may think that making an OC with connections to people who carried out tragedy is disrespectful no matter how it's treated and executed, and that's fine, because everyone is entitled to their opinion. But I personally disagree, because to me, it depends on how it's executed. There is a right and wrong way to do it. For example, OCs who are involved with the SS. My character Vincent is part of it. The way I treat it is with as much respect to victims as I can give, and with seriousness, because it is a very, very serious topic. The wrong execution would be having an SS OC and treating them like a silly, cute little guy, because they were not silly or cute in real life. They were murderers and horrible excuses for human beings. It is perfectly fine to humanize characters like this. I'm not advocating for making characters who are one-dimensional just because they're part of a group made up of horrible monsters who took part in committing inexcusable crimes against humanity. Just making them seem like a silly, small, innocent boy is very disrespectful to people who lost their lives and people who were traumatized and hurt by these monsters. So yeah, I think simply making an OC connected to a real historical tragedy isn't bad by itself. What matters is execution. Some people might ask, why do you make Nazi soldier OCs? Well, first I could go off on my spiel about how not all German soldiers from World War II were Nazis, and some were just young people who were forced to fight or were groomed from a young age into believing the ideology. A good character who shows this is Jojo Betzler from Jojo Rabbit, which I'll go watch if you want. I really hope I don't sound like that guy who wrote The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, who was criticized for telling the story from a German perspective and saying that the Germans were victims too. Because I know the Germans were not victims as much as the millions of innocent people, members of different minority groups who were murdered for who they were victims. And not all the Germans were victims, only some, but all of the members of minorities in Europe being targeted were victims. Okay, spiel over. Now I will talk a lot less about why I make quote-unquote problematic historical characters, and by a lot less, I mean a lot less because I already talked about this at the start of the video, so this section is a bit redundant. I make historical OCs to educate. I want to teach people about history from a perspective that is uncomfortable. I know that my story isn't everyone's thing, and that's fine. I don't really know what else to say that I didn't say in the first section of this video already. You can, but be sensitive and tasteful, obviously. A great movie that shows real horrible things that happened in history, but also tells jokes in a tasteful manner is super hard to guess what movie I'm about to say, I know. Jojo Rabbit. I'm constantly referencing this movie in the video because it's just incredible and also a great piece of historical media in my opinion. I know I sound kind of like a film bro, but it's truly a great movie that I highly recommend. I'm not a comedy expert, but I do enjoy comedy, so I think that I can give some decent thoughts on this. Adding comedy to historical stories is fine as long as you are sensitive and tasteful about it, like I said earlier. It also depends on who the butt of the joke is when you make jokes. If it's victims, it's obviously a bad and disrespectful quote-unquote joke. But if the situation is an appropriate situation to make a joke in, and the butts of the jokes are horrible people, like Nazis for example, you can make fun and ridicule them. To be honest, You shouldn't consult me with all your comedy questions because I really don't know everything about that stuff, but you can make jokes if it's tasteful. The last thing I want to talk about is actually believing in something versus depicting something. Anti-war media is going to depict war to show how bad it is. Anti-Nazi media is going to depict Nazis and Nazism to show how bad they are. This applies to stories and OCs. Having an OC with certain beliefs does not mean the creator has those beliefs. A creator can have the same beliefs as their character, but not always. I feel like this should be obvious, but the people at my school have shown me otherwise. Having a Nazi OC does not make you a Nazi, and it's the same for all other OCs. OCs do not always reflect the beliefs of their creators, and depiction does not equal belief. I have made multiple points in this video, and this is the point where I will summarize them. My first point was that historical characters should be created to educate more than they should be created to entertain. In that section, I also mentioned that history should be told like it is, which includes extreme ideologies. Next point I went over was that OCs based on real historical events should be respectful. Characters who are part of very bad groups like the SS shouldn't be treated like silly little guys, and simply creating a character associated with a real tragedy is not disrespectful, and it's the execution that matters. Then I answered the question, why make historical OCs? And the answer was for education. To be honest, that section was kind of redundant, but I'm still going to keep it in the video. My second to last section was also a question, can you make jokes respectfully? And my answer was yes, as long as you make appropriate jokes in a tasteful manner and do not make victims the butt of the joke. And my final point was that depiction is not belief, and that you can depict something in a story or character without believing in it. I don't have any fan art of me or my characters, so I can't really do a fan art scroll ending like other YouTubers. And that's the end of this video. I hope this was entertaining to watch and listen to, because I know I have kind of a flat sounding voice, so I tend to sound bored. I really want to make more videos like this one, because this was not draining to make. Make sure to listen to? What? Make sure to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more of me and my art. Follow me on Instagram and Tumblr, and subscribe to me on Newgrounds if you want even more of me. Give me suggestions on what I should talk about next in the comments if you want. I would like to make another video like this, but I'm not sure what I'd like to make it about. Okay, farewell. I hope we will meet again in another YouTube video. Bye!